Think you know history? Think again. Today we're busting some of the biggest myths you've probably been told. From medieval lifespans to Santa Claus, your history lessons might have been lying to you. Stay until the end. We've saved the most mind-blowing one for last. You've probably heard people in the Middle Ages only lived to 30 or 35. Sounds grim, right? But here's the truth. Those numbers were skewed by high infant mortality. Survived childhood, and many medieval adults lived into their 60s, even 70s. In fact, some medieval people lived longer than we do today. So, life wasn't quite the non-stop plague of early death you imagined. Speaking of misconceptions about the past, what about Romans with their infamous vomitoriums? Did they really have rooms just to throw up during feasts? Nope. A vomitorium wasn't for vomiting. It was a passageway in theatres and amphitheatres to let crowds exit quickly. The Romans were gluttons, yes, but not that kind of glutton. Millions of people still believe this fake fact. But it's not just ancient history that gets twisted, even recent traditions get rewritten. Take everyone's favorite jolly guy, Santa, but did Coca-Cola really invent the modern image of Santa Claus? Not exactly. Coca-Cola popularized it in advertising, sure, but the jolly red-suited Santa had been illustrated decades earlier by artists like Thomas Nast, a famous political cartoonist who basically created the modern Santa look in the 1860s for Harper's Weekly magazine. Coke just gave him a commercial boost and took all the credit. And speaking of things we wrongly credit to certain countries, let's talk about French fries. Are they really French? Despite the name, fries were likely first made in Belgium. American soldiers in World War I tasted them there and assumed they were French because French is the local language. So next time you dip your fries in ketchup, thank Belgium, not France. The Belgians are still pretty upset about this mix-up. While we're on the topic of cultural mix-ups, here's one that happens every May in America. Cinco de Mayo is often called Mexican Independence Day in the US, but that's wrong. It actually commemorates the Battle of Puebla in 1862, where Mexican forces defeated the French. Independence Day? That's September 16th. So yes, it's a Mexican holiday, but not the one you think it is. But here's the biggest cultural mix-up of all, and we saved this mind-blowing one for last. Fortune cookies, ancient Chinese tradition, right? Actually, they were invented in California by Japanese-American bakers in the early 20th century. Traditional Chinese restaurants never had them. Plot twist: when American chains tried bringing fortune cookies to China in the 1990s, Chinese customers rejected them as too American. Your local Chinese restaurant more American than you thought. So remember, medieval adults could live long lives, Romans didn't puke for fun, Santa existed before Coke, fries are Belgian, Cinco de Mayo isn't Independence Day, and fortune cookies are American made. Which of these myths surprised you the most? Comment below. Your answer might be our next deep dive. History is full of surprises, and next time we'll uncover more myths that schools got completely wrong. Hit like, subscribe, and don't miss the next episode of History Got It Wrong.